Welcome to Show Me Something Wrong,
where each episode, one of us chooses a movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Guy, and today I've chosen the movie, and it is Red Account, My Bloody Angel from 1988 by Toshiki Sato. Alright, let's dive right in.
Sure.
For a very shallow film, there's not a lot in terms of story. I feel like there is a lot to talk about here.
How long is this? 55 minutes or something?
Yeah, it's just shy of an hour. Now, I first saw this film between 10 to 15 years ago, and it was because it was released by the label Shock, which I think it's a Dutch label, and they put out things like Organ by Kei Fujiwara, and they put out Eat the Schoolgirl. So they had a lot of stuff like underground, kind of splatter, fetishy kind of stuff released in Holland, I believe.
I think they put out some of like Fulci's really, I guess you could say shitty, but I love them. Later movies like...
Oh, you can say shitty.
Yeah. No, I love them. I think they put out a couple of those in like bare bones releases, unless I'm getting mixed up with another
I don't know.
company.
They always came in a nice slipcase. They have 4 lobby cards in each one.
I'm thinking of definitely a different company.
No worries. And anyway, so it's been a very long time since I had seen it up until recently. But it was always marketed as one of these extreme Japanese splatter films, much along the lines of Guinea Pig, All Night Long. It was marketed like that. So in my head, it was just another one of these films in the same vein. But then I was attending a talk night recently, and it was a talk night showcasing films that had not been released past VHS in Japan. And there was lots of horror and gore and animation, all kinds of weird shit. And the guy who was hosting it played a clip from Red Account, My Bloody Angel. And I was like, oh, fuck, this film. And I thought this would be great for the podcast. And then I started to realize a few things. Firstly, the title, like Red Account, My Bloody Angel. And the similarities or the patterns that you got with films from that era that had a kind of a foretitle, colon, and then the secondary title. So, for example, White Rose Campus, everyone gets raped.
You've watched that.
Oh yeah,
damn, that was on my list.
One. And Lolita Vibrator Torture. Like these things, you have a just saying so casually.
Yeah.
And then thinking about it, there's like semicolon, like the title with the semicolons in. And then after our previous episode where you did...
Nay Means Yes.
Nay Means Yes, a.k.a.
Lady of the Stable.
That's the one.
A.k.a.
Woman fucks a horse.
Had another one. Wave something. Anyway, sorry.
The Weave. And you talked about the prerequisites for pink films.
I thought you were going to say the group of directors.
Before that, you talk about what you needed, the prerequisites were to make a pink film, and they had to be within an hour, and pretty much the directors were given free rein to do whatever they want, as long as they were given, they provided the sex scenes.
Had to have some shags in it.
Had to have some sex. And then I thought, fuck, is this Red Account, My Bloody Angel a pink film? And it kind of ticked all the boxes based off, just my relatively shallow understanding of the genre, but after looking at the title and your explanation of what a pink film was, I thought very much possibly. Then you researched the director and you came to a realization.
Yeah. So this is not a pink film.
Oh.
It's not a pink film. It's a AV kind of like... It's Nikatsu.
It's a Nikatsu,
video.
Right?
So it's not a pink film because this would have never been screened at a cinema.
Right.
It's a video release, so it doesn't quite fit into the pink mold. But this director, Sato Toshiki, that's his name, right? Yeah. For me, he's the other Sato that I always have been meaning to watch his films.
Right.
But this is the first time I watched one of his films. But he is part of a group of pink directors, kind of like an unofficial group called I mentioned them in the last one, the 4 Heavenly Kings of Pink. And
I think it should be something like the four Pinkmen of the apocalypse.
Yeah. I think they're also known as the four devils as well, might be another name that they have. But basically there were these four very popular, I guess, or very prolific Pinku directors in the late 80s through to the mid 90s. And Hisayasu Sato is in that group, but also this guy, Toshiki Sato. So he's sort of part of that group. But he began his career. So he like studied film with Nikatsu. He went through like the Nikatsu like film school or something, or went, I don't know exactly how it works, but I guess his first assignments were AV films.
Right.
And I think this is his first film, or at least his first or second film. So he made one or two, this and maybe a couple of other AV films. And then he moved into Pink films after that.
Right.
And I also know him as the guy that made the live action Perfect Blue film.
That's it. That's his most famous film.
But there's a lot of his films that I really want to see. And he is considered a really great Pink director. But yeah, this one's not quite a Pink film because it's shot on video,
right?
So it doesn't quite meet the
those strict requirements.
I should say again, last episode I was like, this is my definition, some people's definition. There's also people that just call fucking everything pink. Yeah. They'll call fucking like Lady Snowblood a pink film or something. You know what I mean?
They're just fucking morons, aren't they?
They'll just like throw anything that's like slightly tittillating in any kind of way as a pink film, but for me, it needs those kind of strict guidelines.
Yeah. I wouldn't call Lady Snowblood a pink film.
Maybe that was going too far, but like maybe things like
stepped over the line there.
What are those girl gang movies?
Oh, the Skiban Girl kind of.
Yeah, like maybe things like that. That kind of like
pinky
that
violence
pinky
stuff,
violence. Yeah, it often all gets lumped under the one umbrella.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's kind of different definitions, and I kind of prefer that like strict definition.
So that's it. So yeah, this is a Nikatsu production, and Nikatsu are most famous for their Roman porno films. Maybe back in the day, at least.
For sure.
And maybe it's just my own lack of knowledge, but I wasn't aware they actually made pornos as well. I thought it was like purely Roman pornos, which doesn't actually have penetration. It's all kind of made for the show, right? I didn't know they actually made porn films.
Is Woman in a Box also Nikatsu?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was that an AV? Was there actual sex?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like is it AV? I don't know. Like, is this AV? It's kind of hard to define it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think like this one is far more comparable to say something like Tumbling Doll of Flesh, Nikodaruma, because you have that actual full-on real sex scene as opposed to the kind of the made to look real sex scenes which you get in a lot of the Pink and the Roman pornos.
It gets blurry though because Pink films also sometimes have real sex too.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to define, and we can get into it more later, but this one I was like, I don't know what the fuck to call this, because when you sent it to me when I was like 18 minutes into this, I'm like, is guy just sent me a porn film to watch? But then it becomes something else as it moves on.
Let's get right into it then. So here we are, Red Account My Bloody Angel, 1988. So we start off with someone who very much just looks like a salary man. He is in a straight up suit with a kind of little funny little headband on, performing an exorcism on a man. He's doing the whole like mantra talking whilst his wife is watching and describing in detail through a voiceover of what has happened. And apparently what has happened is the devil has infested in her husband Masuo's eye, which we then learned has spread into his organs.
It's in his guts.
It's in his guts.
His guts are possessed by the devil.
Yeah, so everything's very fast. So we're straight right. He's possessed by the devil. Some man who looks like your average salary man in a suit is performing an exorcism. We cut straight to her in jail, carrying on the voiceover, or the speaking to the camera, explaining what has happened. So we're constantly jumping back and forward through time, whilst the wife is explaining what is going on.
It's a real classic Roman porno Pinku setup, I think. That kind of flashback formula. You see it so much, right?
Love it. They
do love it. instantly, as soon as this started, I know it's like, you said before, it kind of got lumped in with Guinea Pig, and it's very different to those films, but it did instantly give me that vibe with the like video kind of aesthetic, like everything about it. It's weird for me, like I watched those Guinea Pig films when I was really young, and I think they warped me quite badly, and they've also imprinted in me, so when I see something with this kind of look to it, I instantly feel a bit uncomfortable because I get flashbacks to seeing those films when I was a teenager and feeling really bad about watching.
Yeah. But it makes sense though that they've only got an hour to tell a story, and they have to have a number of sex scenes in. So there's only so much you can actually, tell in that time through physical means. So I think everything's got lumped into flashbacks and people just talking directly to the camera.
Sure.
So we jump from her watching her husband get exercised essentially to her in jail, and she's now talking about how she met her husband, and the story is she was working as a nurse when her husband came into the hospital after suffering or being in a car accident, and they fell instantly in love. Love ensued.
They do a shag on a rooftop.
Or a little shag. It's not too...
It's just a quick... It's not even a shag, actually. I think they're just making out a bit. He's a singer of a rock band.
Well, that's it. That's an important one.
But we don't ever see his band. Or ever hear his music. Even though it's important to the story.
It's very important. It is very important. And I will tell you more on that later. But yeah, he's kind of there on his crutches, hobbling along the rooftop for some reason, and she tackles him down to the floor, gives him a bit of a dry rub down. Anyway, this is all only 1 or 2 minutes has passed.
So yeah, we fell in love. Yeah, come on. We gotta keep going.
It is, and then so we got to get the story going. 3 minutes into the story, we get our first sex scene. But before that happens, so now we're back into their apartment. Again, we're jumping through different timelines. We're in the apartment, and before the sex ensues, did you notice the really, really tiny guitar amp that he had in his apartment?
No, I didn't. How tiny was it?
It was tiny. So just to give you some idea of perspective, so he's in a Japanese apartment, like the one we are in now. Everything is low down to the ground. So they have a kind of coffee table, and the amp is about half the size of a coffee table. So it is, like, no joke, tiny, and hooked into like his guitar and his like Led Zeppelin poster on the wall, and they're trying to push that whole rock and roll kind of style.
The art direction is hilarious.
It's terrible.
Did you notice how fucking disturbingly similar his apartment is to this apartment that we're in right now?
Oh, I did not.
There's a scene, jumping forward a bit, I won't go into much detail, where they're doing a shag in the hallway
I love that scene.
of the apartment. Yeah. And it's I swear they filmed it in this apartment. This is an apartment from the 80s, but like the letterbox is identical. It's the same one as ours.
Right.
Did my head in. Yeah.
Did your head in.
Did my head in, mate. I guess all Japanese apartments looked the same in the 80s.
I think they did. I think there was a standard, and things just got built that way. Because I remember when I made Difficulty Breathing, someone was like, "Your bathroom is the same as the one from Women's Flesh, My Red Guts."
And you were like, yeah, I know, I deliberately filmed in that location.
I was just like, really? But I think there was just like the prerequisite. Everything was made very, very similar, especially if you go into like those danchy block of flats. Like, it's just decided. Everything looks exactly the same. And I think that's quite common for buildings of that era. But saying that, yeah, it could have all very been filmed in your apartment, Dave.
Could well have been. I mean, probably this would have been shot in Tokyo, I imagine. They came all the way to Osaka just to film.
Just to fuck in your doorway. Yeah. So, and I was not expecting it to go straight into like a porn film. I thought this was a pink film or whatever, like not full-on penetration.
Sure, and same for me, because you told me to not look up anything about this, so I was going in blind. And it was kind of funny, that sex scene. I'm like, oh, okay, she's getting fingered quite graphically. Like, it's quite... I was saying, through the undies, but...
Wow, I was thinking, like, this must be their way around the visual sensors.
Oh, yeah. So, pink films and AVs as well, you'll notice a lot of them will have a scene with a woman gnawing on a man's junk through his undies. It's just like classic.
Right.
Classic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that has a lot of this. But yeah, like the sex in this is kind of weird because it goes for fucking ages. That scene, it's really long. And it's very... There's something a little bit endearing about it because it's very fumbling and kind of... It's almost a little... Not... Maybe almost amateurish, and it feels very much like the director didn't care that much.
Well, no, it seems to be like shot from very far away as well.
Yeah, he's like, okay, let's just get this bit over with. Yeah,
yeah. I was thinking that like the scene where he's giving her a rub down and she's literally soaked her pants. He must have the magic touch because she has
that comes close to breaking.
Right, and I was thinking, well, this must be the way around the censors. You do it through the underwear, and then, like you said, you suck a dick through his pants and stuff. But then I was, but then in comes in a wallop of mosaics. And then the standard AV things pursue. And then he pisses on her leg, and then we're done.
Well, you say, and we're done, but we're halfway through the fucking movie well, not quite halfway, but it's like the 19-minute mark.
19? Well, the sex scene started at the 3-minute mark, so...
It's fucking long. Yeah, I wrote it down, the time that it ended.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's long. It's really long. Most of the film...
Good on him.
...is that shag.
15 minutes. Good on him.
But what's weird is that this is like essentially like AV sort of stuff at this point.
Yeah.
However, it never... There's like sex after this, but never to that degree.
No.
And that length.
So we go back into the story. She's talking again how happy she is with her husband, that she quits her job as a nurse, and they get married. And then there's the montage of love, of them cycling.
Beautiful montage.
A couple of them on the bike and going around, the snow's falling. It's all just like happy life. And I think we are soon with the second sex scene.
Second shag.
Incredible. He comes home to your home, Dave.
Yeah, this is the bit where I'm like, fuck, is this my place? What the hell?
She's got to answer. Knock on the door, you go and answer. Massor's there, the husband. And I've never seen this style of editing.
Yeah, I thought there was something wrong when I was watching this, because they basically, every time they change position, it'll do a weird freeze frame.
Yeah.
And then just cut shots to a new position. Yeah. And the sounds kind of overlapped a little bit. It's really weird.
So he comes to it and he's like, I'm home. And she's like, oh, she welcomes him. And they start getting down in the doorway.
Straight away.
And then it freezes. And it holds that freeze for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And then they're in a new sex position. And they're going at it again. And then it freezes again. And they're in another sex position as I go from doggy to all this kind of stuff. But every time, they're still in the doorway. They never leave the doorway.
My feeling watching that, it felt to me like a case of fuck, we don't have much time to film this, and we can only get a certain number of angles, and they didn't get any cutaways. That was just my feeling watching it. And they're like, oh, so we'll just make it look like it's a stylistic thing by having these pauses.
Right.
But in reality, maybe they only got the kind of establishing wides of each sex position and no cutaways, because there are no cutaways. It's just those flat kind of shag shots.
Yeah, the shag shots. It's a very bizarre sex scene, but like you say, it never went into as much graphic detail as the first one.
No undie licking.
No undie licking. No.
Were you disappointed by that?
Oh, I love a bit of undie licking.
Because I've had to
to lick an undie before.
Because I love Sato so much, and not this Sato but the other Sato, Yasu Sato, and I've watched all of his films that you can get your hands on, and a lot of them are gay pinkus, and they love the undie licking in that. So I've seen a lot of films with just dudes licking tidy whities.
Oh no. Well, I don't quite know what to say.
Should we just end the episode?
Yeah? And that was Redica. Thank you for listening. Tune in next time. And then we kick back into the story. This is when we're introduced to
our best mate,
Mr. Kawakami, who was the person performing the exorcism at the beginning of the movie.
I love the way that this film is told. It's really kind of frantic. It feels like a kid telling you a story, but they're kind of like making it up as they go. And obviously they're a really perverted kid as well. But it's like, oh yeah, and then Mr. Kawakami showed up, and yeah, we all had to hang out together. And you're like, whoa, hang on, wait, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And apparently he's a university friend of the husband, Maso, but he looks like he could be his dad.
Yeah. He's a weird looking dude as well.
He's a very, even though we know nothing about this guy, there's something very upsetting about his character.
Definitely. But he seems very endearing. Like, he's clearly a friend of Masao's, the husband, and he's kind of talking. We get another, like, montage. It's very nice. They're sitting on the riverbank, and they're talking, and they're riding bikes, and it's all just, like meaningless shots of them having fun and having these deep conversations. And he's basically talking to Masao about how he has to write music, and he's encouraging him to keep working on his music.
I thought there was a little bit of tension under these scenes, though, just from Tomoko, where she's sort of watching it unfold with this sense of unease as well. So it's kind of, as you said, like all nice and light, but then it often just cuts to her sort of watching it with this look of like, oh fuck, our romantic montages have been interrupted by this salary man.
And but they also talk about the devil slightly in these montages. Yeah.
Just a quick mention.
Of the devil, which is prelude of all fun things to come. And the montage ends, and then suddenly, sorry, did you get the wife's name? I forgot what Tomoko. She says, like, from then on, Masao kept to himself and got more lost in his writing.
Yeah, he's all like isolated, right? Just writing that music.
Yeah.
Which we'd never hear. We just see him like with his headphones on playing his guitar.
Yeah. Well, it's tiny amp.
Yeah, his little tiny amp. Doesn't need the amp. Oh, I guess he does. Headphones.
Well, he doesn't get it. He's got a Led Zeppelin poster.
And he's writing his music. He's all isolated. I love the scene. So he's been writing this music, and then he brings it to Kawakami and plays it for him. And Kawakami, so we don't hear it, right?
No.
Do we? We just see Kawakami listening to it, and he fucking loves it. He's stoked on that music. Did you enjoy that? His reaction? He's just having the time of his life.
Kawakami. And then all of a sudden,
very much out of nowhere,
it's like he was completely possessed by the devil.
Yeah, it was like, did we? I mean, I love this film. Don't get me wrong, but it was just funny. It's like he's played the music for Kawakami. Kawakami loves it. Oh yeah, he's possessed.
That's it.
He just comes out of nowhere, utterly possessed, totally possessed.
He's done. He's fucked. And it's not even a little bit. He's she says he was completely possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
fact.
Shit, when?
When did that happen? Well, apparently it entered through his eye.
Yeah, how does that even happen?
Don't know. There wasn't any explanation.
I mean, if it was like the ear, I mean,
that would make more sense.
That would make more sense. And I was kind of thinking, like, maybe this is like, rock is the devil's music type thing, like cashing in on that whole like, what's the word I'm thinking of? That stereotype,
Yeah. It's
but it didn't go there.
It's very disconnected, like the music and him
really
suddenly
had no
possessed.
Point.
But did you? This is a little bit of a tangent, but do you know what? Maybe you were going to bring it up later. Is this a true story?
I will get to that later.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's save that then.
Anyway, he was completely possessed by the devil, apparently.
Yeah, and it's infected his inner organs.
Yeah, it got in through the eye, and then spread to his organs, and then Mr. Kawakami starts his exorcism.
It's so fucked the way that this builds.
Yep.
And it is, you know what, like, yeah, just the suddenness of it and the acceptance that Maso has. It's like, yeah, fuck.
You gotta do what you gotta do, huh?
Guess I'm possessed. Go for it.
He's
up.
He's there screaming. Kawakami's there screaming. He's like doing the whole screaming, chanting thing. And he goes, the devil has found a way inside you. We must remove him. And like you said, Masao's just like,
yeah.
Right, well, fuck it.
Get it done. Get her done.
No complete to you. And then that's when we cut back to the beginning from where we first saw the exorcism.
Yeah, we've caught up now.
And he just goes, well, nothing helped. Left his eye. We have to exercise everything. And then he just strangles him.
Yeah.
He just like tackles him to the floor, strangles him. The wife is watching, just like, oh, yeah.
She's down with it as well.
Did you notice that Kawakami goes completely like cross-eyed, and he's just like, he goes has a full-on cum face moment. And he's alright, now the exorcism starts now. He pulls out a massive bag of salt and starts cleansing everything.
So at this point, he strangled Masao. Is Masao dead already?
Well, we don't really know, but he basically strangles him, takes him out, and he's unconscious as far as we know. And then he has a huge sack of salt and just starts like cleansing everything around whilst doing the chanting. And I was kind of wondering, it's almost, I mean, it's common knowledge when exercising demons. Salt is always used in this context, like to drive away the bad spirits. And
yeah, we used it like before this podcast, right?
I threw it at your doorway when I came in. But even like going back to non-Japanese films, like even when it like talking about witchcraft and things, salt was always the thing that like expelled evil. And in Japan, as I'm sure you've seen, if you go to like you sometimes see outside restaurants or even residences piles of salt. And do you know where that stems from?
No.
I have no idea either.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me.
I'm asking you.
Don't know.
I don't know
I've
either.
got no idea.
But it's like common knowledge, isn't it?
Everyone just accepts it.
It is. And it's always, I remember there was that saying, this is completely irrelevant, but that film Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, great film.
I loved it. But there's that little kid, and she always carried around like table salt with her, and she would like spray this table salt around whenever the witches came close. And it's just, regardless of what evil you're fighting, it seems that like salt has some sort of effect.
Weird.
Yeah.
And it's like a global thing.
I guess so. It's because it works on witches and demons in Japan. And you go to a restaurant in Japan, a little pile of salt outside.
Guaranteed no demons in there.
Well, that's it. Cholesterol levels through the roof.
No, it's outside. It's not in the food.
Oh, it's in the soy sauce, though, isn't it?
That's true.
It's in
Keep
everything.
the demons out of your body. But you won't end up like Masao. Fuck, I hate that name. Can you say it? Masao.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right. There's certain Japanese names that I fucking hate saying so much. That's one of them.
What else do you hate, Dave?
Do you know what one I hate the fucking most? And we've talked about it before. Mummy.
Mummy. Oh, yeah, Mummy's a name, isn't
I
it?
fucking hate that name so much. I've got, I know a few mummies. And when I say their name, I'm like, hey, mummy. It just makes me feel sick whenever I say that name.
But is that not short for Mamiko?
No, every mummy I know is just a mummy.
Oh, really? Every mummy I know is short for Mamiko. And they chop off the go.
No, all the ones I know, it's just that their name is just mummy.
All right. Weird.
Yeah.
I met a girl called Harumi once, and I was like, what, like the cheese? And she was like, yeah, like the cheese. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I know a few Harumis as well. What Japanese names do you hate?
Fucking hate them all day.
Well, you're massively racist. Why are you here? Why are you in this country?
For the free salt. So,
have we talked about the slow cutting of the head yet?
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. So that's it. He says we must remove the. So now we start the step-by-step process of the exorcism. He says we must remove the infected organs, and that's when he starts to cut the neck, and we
very slowly.
It's such an extreme close-up of him slowly cutting into the neck, and the wife is there just collecting the blood
that's what made that scene so fucked. Like, just her going along with it. It feels very, like, cultish and bizarre.
And the special effects are good.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's like, obviously, it's really close up, right? So they're obviously sort of cutting around, like, the budget and stuff like that, but it still is really effective.
I love how the wife is just not bothered at all.
She's like, just sort of blindly kind of on board with it. Yeah.
And then, step number 2, he fingers the eye socket.
Yeah, fuck. That bit was very upsetting. That was a good effect.
That was a great... I was like, holy shit. I guess that was the eye that the devil entered through.
Yeah, he had to get that out.
Yep. Next, disembowelment. And this one I thought, like, is he still breathing? Because he seems to have some movement in his chest at that point. But massive disembowelment, rips out all the organs. So now... Masao is there, cut neck, no eye, no organs.
Yeah.
And full-on open cavity in his stomach. And that's when the priest, Kawakami, just starts filling him up with salt. He's throwing salt around, starts pouring it into his open wound. He's like, fucking hell. And that's when we have a wide shot, and we know that... that he's actually had his head completely cut off.
Yeah, his head's sort of separate now, right? There was something about this that I found really... I mean, obviously it's disturbing. It's a guy getting chopped up. But I think the fact that the film begins with porn makes all of this stuff much more unsettling. It reminds me of Cannibal Holocaust, right? So it's kind of different, but like Cannibal Holocaust... this is... we probably shouldn't be talking about this because it's very controversial, but Cannibal Holocaust has real animal deaths at the start, right? Not good. Don't kill animals. Leave them alone. Don't kill them for the film. But because it has those real deaths, when you get to the violence later on that's fake, you kind of connect those two things in your mind and it makes it more sickening. Whereas this one, you start with porn... and that's still kind of lingering in your mind. So then when you're seeing him get chopped off, I feel like it gives it a pornographic tone as well, which makes it kind of more sickening in a way, because you're like, wait, was this not I watched like a 15-minute fuck scene, and then now I'm seeing a guy getting chopped up and salt poured in him, and it's very... they kind of blend in those tones.
You're having trouble separating the two.
Yeah, it made it very... icky.
Made it hard to finish. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And so the whole time he is just chanting and screaming, throwing salt around. It's quite an erratic scene while the boss is cutting and pulling and chanting and stuff. And then they start just to bag up all the pieces, and we see that the wife is preciously clutching something, which Kawakami then takes from her and throws it against the wall, and we get this awkward zoom into this thing, and we then realise that she was clutching his severed cock,
his little willy. Yeah.
Which do you remember what he said after that?
Doesn't he say like that's the most evil part of the body? It's like the most possessed or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
where he will be especially.
Yeah,
that's where the devil lurks, in the little willy.
In the little willy. That's a good name for a horror film. In the Little Willy.
Oh, what's it about?
Up to you. Possessed penis.
And then I think comes my favourite cut ever.
Oh, it's so good. I love just in general, I love the fucking way this film is cut together. Where it'll be all these like fuck scenes, all this fucked music, and then it'll just cut to like a real fucking tonally different kind of wide.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love this part. It's probably the best part of the film, where it just cuts to a wide shot with all this carnage, and Tomoko and Kawakami are just eating cup ramen.
Next to his severed head.
Yeah. It's so fucked up.
It's like a weird ramen eating scene. It's bizarre. The talk show that I went to, I mentioned, when that scene came on, everyone just cracked up because it was just so out of place.
It's so good though. It's so great.
It was brilliant. So then after lunch, that was lunch, the ramen.
Little break from the disembowelment.
She starts to miss him. She's feeling the loss of Masao, and she starts to fondle his bag of organs and corpse, his severed corpse, and she's like erotically rubbing the trash bags. She's like covered in blood, and she takes his severed hand. It seems like it is severed at the elbow or something.
It's still got, so it's basically the hand with a big bone attached to it still.
And what does she do with the
well, she uses the hand as a masturbatory tool, but she doesn't use the hand end. She uses the bone end.
The bone end.
She's so, it's just like that's a level, that's genius, right? In a way, isn't it? Because if I was shooting that scene, I'm like, oh, well, obviously you're going to use the hand, because that makes sense. But no, she flips it around and uses the bone.
But I think there was some sort of disgusting. It was brilliant, like you said, because there was some sort of like romanticism about it. She was like as if holding his hand.
Sure.
And so she had that connection with him.
She's having flashbacks throughout it, right? As she's using it as a tool, we're getting flashbacks to that lengthy porn scene. And it is kind of it's romanticized and kind of connected to her memories of him.
That's it. Yeah, she has flashbacks of her like fingering her, right? And we have another sex scene. Again, real sex.
Yeah. In
your hallway or bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember where it was. So then, we cut back to her severed arm masturbation scene, and she's blowing Masao once again. And then we cut into this, like, really odd but nicely filmed kind of dream-like sequence, where it's like, it's a completely white, maybe white bed, and she's in a white gown, and blood just kind of seeps in from underneath the gown and turns her whole body like red. It's like this weird dream-like gory sequence, which kind of reminded me of Eat the Schoolgirl in a way, and the scene of which I have no idea what the purpose of was.
Yeah. To be honest, I barely remember that scene.
It was a good scene.
It's good, but it has no real connection to anything. Right? Yeah. But it looks cool.
It's just kind of like an arty, nice little cutaway scene. And then we have another one of those crazy cuts where we cut back to real time, and she's just there blowing the priest.
It's very, very gross, this scene. So she's blowing him kind of, disgustingly, and then spits the cum out on the bloodied ground next to her, and it's next to the head, right?
Next to the severed head.
The head, and oh my god. I feel like that scene really kind of solidifies this idea that it's just these, like, Kawakami's just fucked, and he's just a fucked up guy that's decided that he's possessed, and it takes away any kind of suggestion that there might be anything supernatural to what's going on.
Right.
It's just like, no, this guy's, it's just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, it's so gross and horrible what they're doing.
Yeah.
And again, it kind of, because it's like so, we've had that kind of normal porn scene at the beginning, and then we get this, they're kind of blurring together, and it's
horrible.
Really horrible.
Like you said, like, I mean, once you have the first sex scene, and then you have the full-on murder, disembodied scene, but then we cut back to the sex, but merged with the blood and gore, so it's a really uncomfortable scene. And just before that, we had her like holding onto her severed husband's hand as if she's loving him, the flashbacks, and then all of a sudden she's sucking the dick of the guy who cut her husband's head off and spitting his load out next to her husband's severed head. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Fucking hell.
But then again, another fantastic cut to scene.
I think this is my favorite bit of the film, but maybe unless I've missed a bit, what bit were you talking about?
It's like the post-sex awkward scene.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, they're sitting in silence, not looking or talking to each other, and just scraping the flesh off of his bones.
That was the shot. It's weird. Like, this film is kind of ridiculous in a lot of ways, but that shot, that cut after that fucking horrible blowjob scene, and then we just cut to a grinding kind of sound as she's like grinding the remaining flesh of her husband's face, and it's just like a skull at this point. and he's just in the background. I don't even know what he's doing.
I think he's
Probably
doing the scraping
kind of
as
thing,
well, yeah.
And it's just the kind of, I think all the sound, all the music like cuts out, and then we cut to that shot, and it really gives it this weird kind of impact. And it's honestly kind of haunted me, that shot, because it's so nightmarish.
Yeah.
It's really, it's creepy.
Great, I love it. The whole like post-sex awkward scene has been done so many times, but that has got to be the best one ever.
I would say that scene, I like this film the whole way through, and that scene I'm like, fuck, this is great. This is something really special, that cut.
Yeah, you can't come back from that. And then we enter the last scene.
I also loved the last scene as well. Isn't when they're like hacking, when they're scraping the flesh off, just back to that shot again, you see in the door, right, someone appears in the door frame.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, you sort of see someone coming, I'm assuming, to arrest them at the end or something like that. So I'm assuming that's the cops coming to arrest them.
I didn't notice that.
You sort of see like the figure in the doorway, like through the glass.
Oh, maybe I didn't clock that.
And then it cuts that last bit. Yeah.
And do you want to cover the last scene?
Oh, I fucking love the last bit. We just and again it's kind of does this really great kind of the way it's all structured. We've had this horrible, all the flesh getting chopped up and grinded down, and then we just cut into a kind of sloppy curry getting like served up, and they do kind of blend together those scenes in this way where you're still thinking about his kind of flesh, and then you're seeing this gross kind of curry and rice getting served, and it's kind of this very gentle scene of her, Tomoko, serving like a flashback, right, of serving curry to her husband and to Kawakami. It's kind of a little bit dreamlike.
Yeah, it's got some heavy filters on it.
Yeah, very heavily filtered, very strange, and a big kind of tonal shift from what we've seen before. Yeah, I really love that they capped it off with that. It's great.
Brilliant. And that's it. We end with them eating curry rice happily together, the three of them.
Happily
husband
ever
and
after.
wife, and Kawakami for some reason.
So I guess he was cured. No, I'm joking.
And there you go. That was Red Account My Bloody Angel. Right, now before we get into the wrap up and the wrongometer, how would you feel if I told you this was actually based on a real event?
Well, I saw that after I watched it, I saw something that seemed to suggest that it was based on something real.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yes. So I had to dig deep into this because there is no information on this case in English. But I present to you...
You did a deep dive?
I did a deep dive. I called some friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did.
Fuck, that's awesome.
And they pointed me towards the Fujisawa devil dismemberment murder case from 1987.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like fresh.
Yeah. So this
is in 88, right?
Yeah, this was made a year after the original case.
Too soon.
And some key points of the original murder case. Kanagawa Prefecture. The police came into an apartment where someone was getting disemboweled and chopped up by two people whilst a tape player was playing music. And the people doing the cutting up were kind of mumbling, "I'm exorcising the devil." The person that Masao character was based off, he was there found headless, legless, all his limbs amputated, and his guts ripped out. And, like we saw in the movie, his flesh scraped from his bones. And this music was playing the whole time. Not only that, but the person who was cut up was married to a nurse that he met in the hospital after being hospitalized from a car crash. That's all true. And then we have the Kawakami character, who I believe was his cousin. I could be wrong. There's a lot of translating going on. But he was the influence on that Masao character. He was basically telling him he has to write a salvation song. So it was all very religious, like heavy religiously influenced. And he had to write a salvation song to drive away the devil, was this push that this Kawakami character had on this Masao character. And apparently after a week of making and recording the song, he claimed that he was possessed by the devil. And then they actually started the exorcism. So pretty much everything...
It's pretty accurate.
It's all very accurate.
Fuck. And they made it a porn film.
And then they made a porno out of it.
Wow.
The surviving people went to trial, and they claimed like religious brainwashing, multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia, but they were eventually found responsible for their actions and trialed, and they only actually got 14 years.
Classic Japan.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is the real case that it was based on.
Fucking hell. Yeah, fuck. It's kind of not surprising in a way. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like in Japan, this is a bit of a generalization, but, it's obviously low crime. But when there are cases, they're so fucked. Cases like this, and, oh man, there's so many that are just so disturbing.
Oh, I remember there was
details.
the concrete, the Schoolgirl
that's
concrete
always
one.
the one that comes to my mind. If you don't ever read about that case, would be my advice to everyone.
It's horrendous.
But now everyone's going to want to read it. But that concrete girl case actually really haunted me for... I still think about it from time to time. It's horrible. And the other one, was it in Kobe? The kid, the decapitated kid, do you know this one? This guy... It was a young kid. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I forgot his name. He had a little like pen name he made for himself, didn't he? Sasaki something.
He decapitated a special needs student, I think, and then put his head on the entrance of the school. Fucking so fucked up. And he's not in prison anymore.
No, he's out. He's married. Yeah. He's released his own book.
Yeah. He's like cashed in on it.
That's it. Same as fucking Mr. Cannibal, mate.
Yeah,
Cannibal. Whatever his fucking face is.
Yeah. Sagawa?
Yeah, that's him.
It's kind of the weird thing about Japan, right? Is if you commit a fucking horrendous crime, you can spend not that much time in prison. Or in the case of Cannibal Cunt, he like spent almost no time in prison. He got like kind of... his rich dad kind of bailed him out of it, right?
Yeah, there was because he was in France, wasn't he? There was a loop in the system that he managed to exploit, or there's a fuck up or something.
Basically, I think when he didn't get tried in Europe and then came back to Japan and got certified as being insane or something straight away. But I think though in Japan though, if you commit one crime, it's like, all right, you fucking murdered someone, you can spend a couple of years in prison. But if you kill someone a second time, then you're getting hanged.
Well, that's it. They've got the death penalty here still.
Pretty intense.
Which is kind of fucked as well. So you remember we're going slightly off topic, but you remember the Akihabara killer, the otaku murderer?
Yeah. Was he the one that wanted to die?
I don't remember, but he went around Akihabara and just stabbed a load of people.
Yeah.
And he got given the death sentence.
Yeah, was he the guy that he said that he did it because he wanted to get the death penalty? He was basically suicidal, and instead of just killing himself, he decided to kill other people and have the government kill him.
It's fucked up, but I maybe get my cases mixed up or something. But there are these high profile cases, and they get given the death sentence, but they just rot in jail for decades.
Do you know something else that's fucked about the death penalty in Japan?
Tell me more.
I mean, the death penalty in general is pretty fucked, but in Japan, so I think in other countries that still have it, have the death penalty, it's you kind of know when your date is, and it can get pushed back, of course, like over and over, and that's a whole thing. But in Japan, they never know when they're gonna die. So basically, they'll be locked up, possibly, as you said, for years and years and years, and then just suddenly one day, like, yep, you're getting killed today.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like a sudden thing.
It's mad.
Can you imagine that existence.
Yeah. That's what happened with Stomu Miyazaki, the guy that the guinea pig films became famous off of.
Right.
Who like kidnapped
Otaku killer.
Yeah, he kidnaps and dismembered some little girls, and he got given a death sentence immediately, but spent like at least 2 decades in jail. And then they just called him up one day and was like, all right, today's your day, let's go, kind of thing.
Was that the same with the train? Oh fuck!
Is it the Olmu?
Yeah. Was it the same with him? Because he got executed kind of relatively recently. Like
I'm not
since
sure.
I've been living here, I remember when that happened. Pretty fucked.
Anyway, so there we go. Red account. I sounded like a right Australian cunt right then.
Red account.
Right, here we go. Red account. Oh, I just clapped.
Should we switch and you can be Australian for the end and I'll be British?
No. So there you go. Red account. My bloody angel. How did you get on with it?
Wrongometer wise. So we've got the wrongometer. We rate the film 1 to 10, how wrong it is. This is a really hard one for me. But I'm going to go pretty fucking high.
I am.
I'm going to go... I'm close to a 10, but I'm going to go at a 9.
9?
Because I thought about this when I was watching it, that whole thing that I mentioned before of that, the kind of disturbing tone that it creates by starting as basically a porn film, basically an AV film, and then moving into where it goes and still having that kind of feeling running through it made me very uncomfortable. And it's just a really fucked film. And then adding what you just said then, the true story stuff, knowing that bumps it up a point as well. So maybe I was an 8 before, but now I'm a 9. Because it's that same thing of like in Hong Kong for Cat 3s when they base things on real stories. They do that a lot. And it's fucked. It's so fucked up and wrong to do that. And I will say I fucking love this film.
Hey.
And there's nothing... I found like reading reviews of this, it doesn't seem like people like it very much.
No, they don't.
And a lot of people...
surprised.
A lot of reviews are like, this is fucking boring. It's got, this long porn scene and, it's, not what I expected it to be. And it reminds me of what we were talking about last week where when you watch like a Pink film, you have to adjust how you watch something. And I think it's the same with this. You have to adjust it. It's not a normal horror film.
No.
It's on a different level of something. But in wrongometer terms, 9. Yeah.
I think that's a very fair score. But I think just off what you said, going back to what I said at the beginning, it's the only release that it's had outside of Japan. It's been marketed as a guinea pig-esque all that long time.
Sure.
So I understand the complaint that would come from someone expecting this full-on gore experience when you're just, for the first half of the film, watching people fuck in your doorway.
Yeah.
But
my doorway.
I think, like you said, completely tonally all over the place. The first half being this porn film, not just a Pink film, an actual porn film. Then the second half being this horrendous killing, disembowelment and cutting up into pieces murder case based off a real story, but then also the weird tonal shifts, like the eating the ramen and the stuff, and you're thinking, who the fuck is this for? Can you imagine? I mean, I thought this was a Pink film. I thought they would have played this in Pink cinemas. And can you imagine being the poor cunt who went to go see a film and was happily enjoying 2 people fuck for the first 20 minutes, only then to have to endure 20 minutes of flesh and guts and blood and cum. I am giving it a 10.
Wait,
Yeah, I fucking thought this was great. And so wrong on so many levels. Like, if this was just a fucked up porn film, or if this was just a, say, guinea pig-esque splatter film, it wouldn't rent that high. But I think the tonal shifts, the fact that it is quite evenly divided down the middle, as well as the backstory, as well as the what the fuck scenes, like in the doorway and the ramen and the curry eating scene. It's for me it's a 10. I fucking loved it.
Came close to giving a 10. Maybe I should adjust my 9.5.
Oh,
There you go. I don't want to go 10 yet.
Don't want to
Gotta save that.
That's we've got to set the bar, don't we?
Yeah. All right. Next time,
Yep.
we're staying in Asia.
Oh.
Kind of.
All right.
Kind of because you'll see.
Kind of because I'll see.
I don't want to give away too much.
I'll kind of see it.
So we're going to Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Indonesia. Have I seen any Indonesian
surely
films?
you have. You've seen Lady Terminator, right?
I've not.
You haven't seen that? Oh, fuck. That's on the list. I kind of want to change this up. Anyway, no. We're going to Indonesia, and the film is American Hunter.
Right.
From 1989.
American Hunter.
Directed by Arizal. One name.
One name. All right.
Do you know
Arizal.
anything about this film?
No. American Hunter by Arizal. Arizal?
Yeah. The title is just American Hunter.
Yeah. No. Never heard of it. Don't know the director. Don't know anything about it. Looking forward to it.
I'm excited to show you this one. It's much lighter than this.
I should fucking hope so. Christ.
Follow Show Me Something Wrong on Twitter at SMSW Podcast. Please.